Welcome back, everybody. I'm finally back to making these videos, and let's jump right where I left off, and that was with the San Francisco Giants. Let's give them an outlook for the season, but let's start with last season. Last year they finished 77 and 85, only what 8 games below 500, so not horrible. They finished third in the NL West, behind the Diamondbacks and above the Rockies. So they had a surprising year last year because they were probably expected to be the last place team last year, and they're probably going to be expected that this year because they lost a lot of people that were important to that team that got them those wins are now gone. I think goal for them this year is not to finish last. That's going to be really hard to do. Um, but I think it's plausible that they won't, but it's going to be a really tough challenge for them not to be the cellar dweller in that division. Um, Key additions, they really didn't add a big name guy that would be able to produce a lot. I mean, they signed Wilmer Flores as second, who on their depth chart right now is uh, second. He's not even starting; he's more of a bench player. Um, I think who was their second baseman that they have? Uh, Dubon. Dubon. Well, so Mauricio Dubon. Okay. Let's see. That might actually be a position battle to look out for in spring training, which is ongoing. They also signed Billy Hamilton. Really, not a lot of really a pinch run situation, which they could always use. They need more speed. They sent him to a minor league contract. I expect he'll be on the major league roster. I would be very surprised if he wasn't, but I think you need somebody with speed, and Hamilton is probably the fastest guy on that team now. Now. And then they signed two old stalwarts that were on their World Series teams. They signed Hunter Pence, they brought him back, and they re-signed Pablo Sandoval. Now, I lumped these two guys in together because they were former teammates, and they both have the same kind of career path at the end. They're both on the last shot of their careers, most likely, and they probably want to retire with the teams they were the most successful with. And for both Pence and Sandoval, that was with the Giants. And against with Pence and Sandoval, they both did really well last year. Pence did really well with the Rangers when he was playing, as I believe as the DH spot. And Sandoval looked pretty good during that stretch of I think June, July, where the Giants won what seemed like 20 some odd games. Uh, where they went on that really good tear in the summer, and they looked like a really good team. They were clicking on all cylinders and everything. Uh, Now, key losses, they lost Will Smith, their closer, and that's going to hurt because they really don't have anybody that could replace him. They have Tony Watson, who right now is the de facto closer, and Watson's got some good stuff. And they also have Trevor Gott, who would probably be the setup man. But getting rid of Smith really hurt him. Um, I think Watson, he's been in the league for a while, but he could struggle in that ninth inning as the closer. Um, they also lost Kevin Pillar, who had a career year, at least in homers. Yeah, Pillar had a pretty career year offensively last year with the Giants. He looked really well swinging the bat, and especially with Pillar, you know you're going to get A to B grade defense. And Pillar's looking really good, and they just couldn't re-sign him. They lost him to the Red Sox, which really sucks because they needed that center fielder to keep Yaz in one of the corners, most likely right field. And they also lost Madison Bumgarner. Like they lost their ace. Um, it's at this point, they're probably I mean, this is obviously the end of the not Red Sox, the Giants dynasty that won the three out of three World Series out of 5 years. which really sucks because those Giants team are really good. And the last person, I mean, other than Pence and Sandoval that was on that team is Posey, and I don't think they'll get rid of Posey. But getting rid of Bumgarner really sucks, even though he had a down year last year. He wasn't prototypical Bumgarner, but I mean, now Johnny Cueto's your number one, and he was hurt for most of last. I think he was hurt all of last year. Played a little bit in September, in late August, and that's going to be an unsurmountable task to try to overtake. So we'll see how well they do with that in throughout the season, because they're going to need starting pitching. Really, they need a whole new team, but it's going to be a very hard what's it called? Like I said, mountain to climb for them. I think stuff to look for is, like I mentioned, with Bumgarner leaving, is how's Johnny Cueto going to be healthy? Because he had Tommy John surgery. He had Tommy John surgery last year, so he missed most of last season. And how's Cueto going to be healthy? Because he hasn't really been solid Cueto since his one year with Kansas City. And I mean, they're paying him to be kind of a top guy, and he just hasn't been performing in San Francisco. And I think his Penn's going to start in right field because, like I said, this is probably going to be Pence's last year in Major League Baseball. So we're going to see how well that goes. I hope he gets a starting job because from everybody that I've heard from, that I've read, Pence is one of the most liked guys in the league. And it's really going to be between Hunter Pence and Steven Duggar for that starting job in right field. I think they might start Pence because let him get his farewell tour, which if this is his last year, I think they will do. And it'll be a very interesting thing to do. Which I hope, like I said, I really hope they do. And I think some players to look for. I mean, you got pretty much the stalwart and Buster Posey. He's going to always do really well for that team, no matter how bad they are. And this year, they're looking really bad. This isn't going to be a team that I don't think they're going to be 77 and 85. I hope they are, but I don't think they will. I think maybe somewhat of a good year from Longoria, because Longoria's kind of struggled since being in a Giants uniform. Yeah, it's probably the decline of his career, but if he can hit 260 and maybe get 80 RBIs, that'll be a nice comeback year, I think. And I mean, with Longoria, you're always going to get solid to stellar defense. That's what Longoria made his name off of, is defense and power early on in his career. He's still got the defense, but he doesn't really have the offense that he did when he was with Tampa, which is probably just the natural progression of a downhill, of a slide in the career. I mean, you got Brandon Crawford, who's one of the most entertaining guys to watch at shortstop, really great fielder. I mean, you got Brandon Belt, who in his name can hit some dingers. Lefty, pull that ball into McCovey Cove if you can get a hold of one. And I think the star on this team is Yastrzemski. Yaz is going to have a really good year. And when Posey retires, might even before then, depending on what he does, Yaz is arguably the number one, number two guy on this team. As when you think of the Giants this year, you either think Posey or Yaz. And I think Yaz is going to be a star on this team for years to come, I think. I think my guess to where the Giants will place this year, I have them fourth in the NL West. Really, it's a fight for last place in the NL West. I said this with the Rockies video, and I said this in the Padres video. It's a fight for last place in that division between the Padres, Rockies, and Giants. Whoever stumbles their feet the longest is going to finish up in last. My guess right now that I have on paper is I think the Giants will finish fourth. I think the Giants will finish fourth. I think somehow the Rockies will falter even more. They might trade Arenado. So, and I think it's really anybody could finish in that 5th place out of those 3 teams. So, that's the end of the video. If you guys liked the video, press the like button. Subscribe down below. That would be greatly appreciated. Let me know what you guys think about the Giants. Do you think they'll finish somehow miraculously above 500? Do you think they'll lose 100 games? What do you got? Let me know what you guys think about the Giants 2020 season that's coming up. Share this video with all your friends and buddies, and I will see you guys in the next video.